then now what else you want me to tell?
Oh, let's see. Let me just remind you of some of the stories. You told me one time about what you all used to travel in covered
wagons. When I was a little girl, well, I was 6 or 7. My dad had always take us in covered wagons to places to pick cotton and to work for other people all the time. We lived in an old covered wagon. At night we'd pull up to some old creek or river where we had water, and we'd make a fire outside to cook our meals on, and we'd all we'd have to throw pallets out on the ground, and snakes or anything could have bit us there. And my mom and us, she had to cook out of the same water we watered the horses. I hate to stick this on there. And we wash our clothes, have to wash them in a creek and hang them on bushes or something. And we would go down and wash our feet, get ready for bed, and go back up and sit by an old campfire. And sometimes we'd have something a little extra to eat, and sometimes we wouldn't. And my mom and dad would always sleep in a covered wagon and put us children underneath the wagon and all around the wagon and to sleep. And then we'd get up the next morning. My dad would get us up by 4 o'clock in the morning and wait till daylight to come, start out picking cotton, start out our old covered wagon and move from place to place. And
how old were you when you started picking cotton?
Oh my goodness, I wasn't over 4-year-old. I was out in the field working. And pulling a little gunny sack behind me and filling it with cotton, picking cotton.
When you were 4 years old?
Yes, and I had to, all of us kids had to work real early age. And if we ever would take time to straighten up our backs or look around, my dad would holler at us, get down there and get to work. And of course, we didn't get our own money. He'd get the money to buy groceries with. And we had to work just about like a bunch of slaves. We just raised up, I shouldn't put this all in there, like a bunch of gypsies almost. We had to cook out on the fire and fix their meals. And you want me to tell about that eggs?
Yeah, sure. Tell anything you want
and, so one time we was all so tired and so hungry and we stopped at a farmer's house and parked our old covered wagon there and fed her. My dad fed his horses there somewhere. Then we went into this farmer's house and bought about 3 dozen eggs and I think a gallon of milk or something like that. And we went out. My mother said, well, she'd cook us eggs for supper, and we didn't. We were so happy. And she cooked 3 dozen eggs for, I don't know how many kids was with us at that time. Some of them, I think, had got married before we traveled so much. And I think each child got 3 eggs apiece. We was that hungry, and I think my dad ate 10 eggs. Every one of us ate 3 and 4 eggs apiece, and she made us biscuits in an old iron skillet and cooked them on the fire, and we had biscuits and eggs, and she'd always boil a big old pot of coffee on the fire for my dad and her. And then after that, well, we would all sat around there, nothing to do, and didn't have nothing to play or nothing like that. And we just sat around there, wait to get ready, get to bed on our old pallets and sleep that way. And
did you ever have any kind of toys to play with?
No, we never did have any toys, hardly ever. Well, we just very poor people. And we'd have to wear the same old suit, the same old clothes, maybe a week at a time before we could pull them off to wash them. Dirty. And I remember, too, when we'd get our hair washed, a lot of times we had to wash our hair with old homemade soap. It's one that had taken it all out, our hair all out. And wash our heads. And my mother, she never let us take baths very often, said we might catch cold. I bet we didn't smell very good nowhere.